What's going on, man? How you doing?
Good, man. Good. How about you?
Doing good, doing good. So, wanted to ask you some questions about your experience working with me. And the first thing I wanted to ask you is, before, we started working together, where were you at in terms of like your life and your and TikTok shop, content creation? Start there.
Yeah. I'll try to keep this as short as possible, but I'll kind of start back in August of 2024. I got into a mentorship program, although it wasn't very much a mentorship. I was supposed to have a one-on-one coach. Very spotty on the one-on-one coaching. They got back to me after like 3 or 4 days after I messaged in the Discord chat. Um, and I learned some things from the TikTok shop. I got into the affiliate marketing space with TikTok shop. I didn't know if I clarified that before, but I did that in August, and it took me probably a month to make my first sale. They were, I went through the whole course and everything like that, and I learned some things, and I started making some money. And then I was like, okay, so cool. I made my first sale, and then fast forward to like September, October, I started making a little bit more money, and it wasn't quite like life changing, quote unquote, or like enough to um, get a living out of it. But it was, enough to where I was like seeing some decent progress. And then at this time, mind you, I just got laid off from my job at Best Buy, and I was doing this to try to make this my full-time income. So I had to cash out my 401k, and I was just living off my 401k trying to make this work. And November comes around, and that was probably my best month. I made roughly in the span of that 2 months, maybe about 3,000, 3,500, somewhere in there. And then December came, just completely no sales. I had a lot of $0 days. And I was like, man, okay, this kind of sucks. I'm like, you know what? I'm not seeing any progress. I'm just going to quit. Like this, it doesn't work. So I quit and I stopped posting. And this is December 2024, leading into January 2025. So I found a job, someone that works in my gym. He's a manager of this tire warehouse. And so I contacted him, and, mind you, I was applying to a whole bunch of places. And he gave me a job. And the job was, man, it was freaking difficult. Like it was waking up at 1:45 every single morning, 6 days a week, going to work at 3 a.m., working usually until about noon, sometimes like 1 or 2, depending on like the trucks we get. And I was in a tire distribution center, so I was literally moving tires all day long. 18 wheelers would pull up, unload the entire, there were over 1,000 tires like per trailer. Had to unload the tires, me and another person. And that lasted probably 4 hours, right? Sometimes we get two of those trucks, and it was just physically exhausting. I lost a lot of weight. I was getting 2 hours of sleep a night because I couldn't go to bed at like 6 p.m. to wake up at 1:45. I went to bed at like 10 or 11 just because I'm not used to going to bed super early when it's light outside. Anyway, sorry, I was kind of rambling there.
No, you're good.
So I did, yeah, I did that for quite a while. And then this was January 2025. And April, I saw a post from the old mentorship that I joined, and this guy who is probably in his mid 40s, he made a post that in the month of April, sorry, this was May now. In the month of April, he made 50K. So he made 50 grand in the month of April from TikTok Shop. And I was in the same group as this guy. He started a month after me. And I was like, holy crap, that could have been me. But I quit. And I was like, that could have been me. And I quit. And this guy, like, I have no excuse. Like, there was no excuses. And so June, I was following Danny for a quite a while, probably when he had like 150, 200 followers. And then I hit him up and I saw his progress from, I think it was March until he had his first like 10K month, or he was getting to his 10K month. And I saw how he did. I'm like, dude, like, can you mentor me? It was like late June. I was like, can you mentor me? And we kind of talked. He's like, I've never done it before. And I was like, dude, I don't care. Like, let's do it. Teach me what you know. Like, let's go. I'm all in. And so June we started, and the month of July, because that was the first full month, he was teaching me like actual skill. It wasn't just like, hey, here's a course. It was like one-on-one calls, taught me actual skill, followed uh, research, product research, followed trends, see what was working. And then July, I made roughly, I think it was like 600 or 800 bucks. And then August, I made about.
We're gonna pause one sec. I'll cut
Yeah.
you off because I could go back for a second.
Yeah.
Like let's take a step back. When you were posting, consistently before you started working with me, you were showing up every single day, but was there a strategy really in place, or did you really kind of have an idea of what you're doing? What was that looking like before you started working with me?
There was no strategy. The only thing that was said, or that I new whenever I join like group calls or anything. They're like, hey, you know, have like a better hook, try doing like they're if I was promoting sweats, they're like, hey, try putting like a banana in your pants or something like that to kind of get like comment bait. There was no strategy as far as like hitting pain points to the audience
Mhm.
or to my target audience in order to sell that product. Like,
Right.
how does this product like help this? Like, there was nothing really like that. It's just like how to make like the video as like entertaining, but like selling the product as possible, which is what, a lot of TikTok shop is, but
Right.
that's not everything, not even close.
Right. So we're gonna get into kind of the results you had, but what would you say? I guess you hinted on this a little bit, but what made you, I guess, reach out to me over the other TikTok shop coaches out there and other people doing TikTok shop?
Because you were probably the only real one that I follow. And like I started following you from when you only had like 200 followers. So you weren't a coach, you weren't a mentor, you were a regular dude just like me. And you were trying to get out of your job. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. Like I want to follow him. And then like I was following your journey for like quite a few months. And then like you were actually able to quit. And I was like, this is insane. Like he was able to do it. He like got a mentorship just like I did, but he got out and he hates his
Right.
job. And I'm like, I don't like my job and I want to get out.
Yeah.
So
Trust me, when it happened, I was like, oh my God, this is real, right? And I was like,
yeah,
I'm glad I kind of documented it so that people can see. Cause like really the point of when I started that page was just to help other people show that it's
yeah,
possible. So then I know you reached out to me over DMs, and at the time I was getting quite a few, but I wanted to work with you because you seemed really serious. You're like, I've been trying and I just want this so bad. And you talked about how you hated your job. And I was like, dude, I could tell this guy wants it. And I was like, let's go in it. And you took a chance. So I'm really, really glad that you did. But let's start with like, what did we change? You don't have to give too much detail if you don't want to, but what did you change? What we put in place that made the biggest difference for you? Like positioning, content, like what about it made the biggest difference for you in particular?
probably definitely the strategy as far as the pain points of like whatever script I was coming up with or however I was presenting said product, the like hitting the pain points and then going to how this product can help change your life or how it can help better your life. So I definitely say like the strategy as far as that goes, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then the product research. So going through Calidata and finding, narrowing it down to a specific filter, and then seeing what was working, how going through and seeing like different angles on how I can approach this product. So not only approaching it from like one angle, but seeing like several other angles and bringing in like viral concepts from other videos to my product. And that was definitely something I never would have thought
Right.
before. Yeah.
Right.
So
So once we started applying strategy, how long did it take to start seeing results? And I know like up at front, you're like, oh man, this is, I don't know if this is going to work. This is going to work. And then I was like, stay consistent, stay consistent. Tell me about your journey and how long it took to start seeing results.
so to see just I'll say around 40, $50 days,
Mhm.
right? Consistently. That probably took about, what was that, July? Probably about a month, I would say, because I
Mhm.
got my first sale within like a week. And I had my first viral video, like literally maybe a couple weeks after posting, like starting with you.
Mhm.
And so I'd probably say where I was like making some like consistent $50 days, probably about a month in, I would say,
Yeah.
like
Love
four
it.
to 6 weeks. Yeah.
And then from there, once you kind of got a grasp of what was going on, lead me now to where are you at? Kind of where did that take you to get to those big months? Walk me down the road, month
Yeah.
one, month two, month three.
Yeah. So July was, I, I like to like think of it like stages. So like you get a new mentor, like I got you in June, right?
Mhm.
July, I was like, man, I'm hyped. Let's go. And I was grinding, and I was like grinding the whole time, but this is like the phase that I was going through.
Right.
It was like grinding. I was like, okay, July. I was like, I was making some, consistent like $30 to $50 days. I was like, okay, cool, it's working. I had like a video that was starting to go viral, and then I had another video starting to go viral from like different angles. And I was like, okay, I was like, it's not quite where I want to be, but like I'm seeing some progress, and I was hype. And then that was July. August comes around, and mind you, we had our 8 weeks, I think, through July and then most of August.
Mhm.
And then I think switching to like another product that we were looking into, I think August picked up a little bit more. So I was like, okay, I'm starting to see, more and more sales coming in. But it was at that point, I think August was the time where I was just like, I had like I was like depressed. Like I'm not gonna lie, August was tough. That was probably the toughest month from like literally the beginning until the end of August because I was making probably 80-ish dollars a day consistently, like sometimes 90, but it wasn't enough to quit my job. And I was putting in all of these hours. I was working at my job for like 9, 10 hours. Come home, I would film TikTok shop videos. I'd film like 3 or 4 a day after work. I would be holding the phone in front of my face, like falling asleep because I was so tired. And I was just like, man, I feel like this, like it's working, but I feel like it's not working because I'm not like, I want out of my job so bad. And it's
Right.
just, it's not at that point yet for me to quit. And I'm putting in all of these like hours after work, like product research and everything. And I'm like, man. And so August was rough, like mental health wise, it was pretty rough, but I was still consistent. And I made a little bit more than what I did in July. I made roughly, I think, 2K. And then September comes, and this was the month that was crazy. I wasn't expecting anything. I found a new product, and we were, made several videos on that product. And I guess one or two of them blew up, and it just like insane progress from August to September. So I went August making 2K. September, I made $7,400. And that was unreal. I've never made like the most I've made in my life in a month was maybe 3,300 from like a job.
Yeah.
And I made over double that in just by making little TikTok videos. So I
Crazy.
made 7,400 and I was blown away. I'm like, holy crap, this is like actually happening.
Yep.
And after that month, I was like, I'm putting in my 2 weeks. Like I'm done. Like
Yep.
I'm done. Like,
And then October came, and what did you do in October?
yep. October, quit my job, October 10th. And October, I made a little over 12K. I made like 12.3K in
Crazy.
October, which is like 4 times my month's salary, maybe 5 times from that tire warehouse job. And so and Danny told me, after you quit your job, you're going to have these like weird setbacks where it's just going to test you to where you're
Yep.
not sure if that was the right decision. And I still, even now, have some of those days where it's testing me where I'm like, man, I'm a little worried, but I'm consistent, sticking with the plan. And since then, I've had several brand deals to where they're paying me flat fee retainers, making videos, getting commissions with those videos. And I'm still making money on videos that went viral from June, July, August. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting about TikTok Shop. As I tell everyone, you have to be very input focused up front, right? Because the results are a lot of times delayed, right? You have to put in the work to learn the skill set. And then what happens a lot of times is the older video will start to go viral and then you just start building momentum, right? So it's really just a delayed gratification. It's hard. I tell everyone, if you want to make online money, no matter which industry you pick, there is going to be that learning curve where you're putting in a ton of work and a ton of hours and you're not getting handed an immediate paycheck like you would at your job. But that is the sacrifice that you have to make if you want to get out and get your time back, is you have to quite literally fight for your freedom, right? That most people will give up after a month or maybe like 2 months of putting work into something and they're like, oh, it didn't work. But here you are, you put in 3 months of hard work. You were, like you said, you were sad, you were going through it. But then all of a sudden, boom, you break out. And then what people see is like, wow, this guy just made $12,000. And they might not see all the work that went in behind it. But, with you, Christy, I mean, you showed up every single day. You took my advice on the calls and you did your own research to go along with what I taught you. And you showed up every single day and you stayed consistent. And what happens? It's not a miracle. It's every single time someone stays consistent and works with this, they're going to have these massive months. It happened to me. It happened to you. It happened to dozens of other people. So it's like, we know that this works. It is an inputs game. Where would you say it on the scale of luck and skill that making money falls on? Like there's not a whole lot of luck. Would you agree with that? Once you know what you're doing, it's just like, it's pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah, it's very straightforward. Definitely a lot more skill based than luck for sure.
Yep. Awesome. And even interesting enough for anyone who doesn't know Chris, is we were so confident that this man was going to quit his job. I was like, go out there and post a video saying where you're at in life and tell the world what you want to do. Say, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to do it with TikTok Shop. I would say, what was it, like a month and a half or 2 months after you posted that video, you had your first 10K month.
Yeah.
Like crazy, right? Crazy how that works. I just knew it, you knew it, right? And then it just happened. So what would you say to another, person who's interested in maybe working with me about the approach? What type of person would they be to have to find success? And how would you kind of rate me, for lack of a better term, as a coach compared to a lot of the other people that you maybe worked with?
I would say if you have been following Danny for quite a while, especially from like the beginning of his journey, or even after he made his first 10K month, I would say if you're wanting to do this, go for it. But just be mindful that it is not only like consistency, but it's also very emotionally draining. And the fact that you're going to have these days to where you're going to want to quit and you don't want to, you're not sure if it's working. Right. It's very, very up and down. Like you'll have great days, but then you have the low lows and then you have the high highs. So, but as long as you're consistent, like you're going to make it no matter what.
Right.
So as long as you're,
it's balanced. You have to just be input oriented, and I tell a lot of people when they start, track your inputs, right? Just try and detach from the money that you're making and track if you're showing up every day and track if you're improving 1% every day. Because if you do that, it's inevitable that you will win, whether that takes 3 months like you, whether that takes 2 months like me, whether that takes 6 months like another creator, whether that happens in a week, right? It could be a different timeline for everybody, but the common denominator is the people who make it just stick with it until it works. And they're not spinning their wheels guessing, right? Because what I did, and same for you, right, is we didn't find success when we were showing up every single day for months on end, posting videos, staying consistent, and we didn't see results. And if that's the case, then it's a strategy error, right? If you're going months and months and months and months on end without seeing any sales, then that's user error. That is content, right? Like I said, what we want to do and what we did is get our odds in our favor, right? Take the luck out of the game and focus on what we know works. And when we do that, in the grand scheme of things, 3 months of hard work isn't that much time to get your time back, right? That's a great trade-off to make. And for me, I put a lot of work in, but to go from practically $0 to a $10,000 month in the span of 2 months with this information, it's real, right? And it just comes down to how bad do you want it? How bad do you want your time, right? The person who wants it more is going to work harder, just like you did, right? You wanted it so bad. Every time we talked, you're like, I want out of my job. I'm like, I feel you, dude. Keep posting. All of a sudden, 3 months, right? 3 months from when we started signing up, you were profitable, quit your job, and did $12,000 a month and got engaged, right?
Yeah, got engaged. Yeah. Just paid off the ring. So she has the ring. Yeah.
That's awesome. Congrats on that, man. Well, one more question to ask is, if you hadn't made the decision to invest when you did in your growth, where do you think you'd be right now?
If I hadn't made the decision?
If you hadn't made the decision to work with me, where do you think you'd be?
Oh, man, dude. I would probably be just hating life. No, I'm just kidding. No. Honestly, I would be probably still doing research on a bunch of different mentors or a bunch of different like things to try out, because I was, and I know you did the same thing. You're like, oh man, let's try, crypto, let's try ecom, let's try running ads. Like I'm so focused on a bunch of things, and I was trying to have my foot in everything that nothing was working. And honestly, I'd probably still be trying to do that if I didn't reach out, and I'd probably still be at that same job, just withering away. So
dude, yeah, man, thank God, right? Thank God. Well, I'm super glad, you chose me, to work with on this. I think the most exciting part of my last year was really just seeing you like do the damn thing that you said you wanted to do. I was like, this guy's got a will and a want to do something and change his life. And like, those are always the people that I'd be happy to work with, because it's like, it's inevitable they're going to succeed. And it's just a timeline thing and putting them on the right strategy and skill set. And in terms of TikTok Shop, like there's a lot of good business models out there. But I think TikTok Shop, in terms of just risk reward, I mean, it's very low risk, high reward. I mean, at the end of the day, what we're just doing is posting videos of products, right? As emotionally draining as it can be to maybe go a month without seeing a sale or something, like the ROI on this skill set's massive, because this is transferable across different platforms, right? Social commerce isn't new. It's not going away anytime soon, right? A lot of people are like, is this a sustainable skill set? Heck yeah. I mean, we're both making probably 2x what we made at our jobs and that we got degrees for. I got a degree for, and we're making more money posting videos on TikTok. So is it sustainable? Yes. Social commerce is not going away anytime soon. And you feel confident in your skill set to take this as far as you need to, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's learning marketing,
Yeah.
marketing and sales, like one of the two most important things to make a lot of money and to network. So
Absolutely. Well, super proud of you, man. All your progress, and I hope whoever sees this is motivated as heck, because this is real. You know, two regular dudes right here working corporate jobs, or jobs that just made you miserable, and we said, screw it, we're not doing that. We want our damn time back. It's our life.
100%. Yeah.
Love it, Chris. Well, I really appreciate you today accepting the call to do the interview with, and can't wait to see what you do in the future, man.
Thanks, man. Thank you. Yeah. Same with you.
Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you.